It's pretty interesting, right? Anybody who's been involved with the Black Lives Matter movement or is even on the surface been dealing with things since George Floyd was murdered by the police know that in the comments, one of the things that's frequently said, and we've heard this spoken at Back the Blue rallies and other things. See, we don't riot. See, we don't do trash or graffiti and we don't hurt people and we don't break things and we don't do bad stuff. No, you just commit arson and stab people and shoot people and pepper spray police officers. We can add that one to the list, as happened on Saturday in Washington, D.C. And with that, we're going to roll some clips. Little bit of a warning. Some of you may find some of this hard to watch, so a little viewer discretion advised.
Far-right protesters and counter-protesters fought in downtown Washington on Saturday night, with local media reporting at least 4 people stabbed.
There are new investigations into possible hate crimes in the district. You're looking at video of a Black Lives Matter flag on fire in the midst of last night's rallies in support of President Trump.
Y'all see that? As I'm talking about accountability, and why. Oh, and there's another one. Look, that's a secondary car. Look, that's a second car. Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's a second car, all right?
Police are still investigating this incident and are calling it a hate crime. The man who dragged the victim fled the scene, and currently no arrests have been made. But several politicians have spoken out today on Twitter about the attack, condemning this behavior.
One person detained following a shooting here at the Capitol campus after some protests that were going on earlier today. Now, there's yellow crime scene tape up here behind me as the investigation continues.
These are chuds.
Cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers.
Chuds have been busy this weekend, haven't they? They've been very busy this weekend. There's a fair amount to unpack there. So in Washington, D.C., what happened was, right, because I'm sure that there's some people watching, oh, they burned a Black Lives Matter sign. Oh, the little crybabies. See, here's the problem and why it's being deemed potentially a hate crime. Those Black Lives Matter signs were attached to historic black churches that were built in the 1800s with black congregations in Washington, D.C. Black Lives Matter has been very clearly established by multiple government agencies as not a political slogan or a political movement, unlike Make America Great, which is a political slogan. It is essentially a feel-good or a woo-woo. I say that a little bit flippantly on purpose, not to belittle the Black Lives Matter movement itself. I'm trying to stress the key difference here on, say, Make America Great versus Black Lives Matter. In pulling those signs off and setting them on fire, it's essentially, from a legal standpoint, without squinting terribly hard, committing arson against a historical black church, including one historical black church that Frederick Douglass had, I believe, had his funeral there in 1895. Don't hold me to that one. I don't know if it was funeral he spoke there, but I believe it was funeral in 1895. If you don't know who Frederick Douglass is, we don't have time to explain it on the show tonight, but you should go educate yourself on who that is. In addition, the Chuds stabbed 4 people in running brawls, and earlier in the day in the morning, pepper sprayed police officers in the face. Oh yes, the Chuds were pepper sprayed, much to their disappointment, by the police in response in Washington, D.C., but it's very, very clear, and it's on the record, the Chuds fired the pepper spray first. Then we have in Sacramento also, where people were advised to stay out of the downtown area, incidents that didn't even make it to the news because of what happened over there. We shared the clip from Concrete Media. Ian, thank you so much for letting us share that. Ian is great. And concrete reporting. I know Ian is just like going like this right now. I have it like stuck in my head. Concrete Media, Ian, you know it. Concrete reporting, Ian. Ian has been a machine at Red House in Portland. We're actually going to do some stuff on Red House in Portland a little bit later. He streamed for almost 60 hours, almost continuously. We go on the air, off the air, on the air, off the air, before he went and finally got some sleep down there. And what you saw in that clip, the smoke bomb was meant to, one, obscure the view of the vehicle that actually was executing the attack and to lull people into a false sense of security. And then the second vehicle was the one that was intending harm on people by throwing commercial grade mortars. Oh, but you can't then justify doing a criminal act because somebody else did a criminal act. It doesn't work that way in the United States of America, Chuds.
Chud. Cannibalistic, humanoid, underground dwellers.
You're not the same. I'm an American. You're a sick asshole.
And then we go to Lexington, Kentucky, where a man in a car started hurling anti-Semitic insults at Chabad that was simply lighting their menorah on Sunday night. That's all. Just lighting their menorah on Sunday night, or would be at sunset, and to have a service. And he grabbed an individual by an arm from the Jewish community there, dragged him for over a block, and then in the process of holding on to him and dragging him along in his car for a block, the individual was run over. That is also being investigated as a hate crime. It's very interesting to me how Chuds talk about how brave and strong they are, yet they continue to target the vulnerable, like people just practicing their religion on a Sunday, literally lighting a menorah in a time-old tradition in the Jewish community. And then they do things like cover up their license plates and hide and run when they commit these acts. It's not bravery. It's disgusting.